is the WRC Power Stage live. The clock is ticking for the world's greatest drivers. They all want to be fastest in Argentina, and they all want to be fastest in the Power Stage. And you will find out who claims those prizes in the next hour. Rally Argentina is round 6 of the World Rally Championship, which means the cars have been tackling some spectacular roads, over mountains and across rivers. And the man who stood out the most against this amazing backdrop on day 1 was Garcia, who opened up a lead of nearly 20 seconds. But he would be slowed by mechanical problems on the second day, which allowed his Citroën rival Sebastian Ogier to take the lead, opening a gap to his rivals of over 40 seconds. The Power Stage is situated just outside the town of Carlos Paz, where the service park is situated. It runs between Cabalango and Via Garcia and measures just under 4 kilometers. It's very fast and will reward the bravest drivers. And the reward for the most brave is 3 bonus points to add to the points they collect in the overall classification. Second fastest over this Power Stage will collect 2 points, third fastest 1 point. Day 1 of Rally Argentina took place on the classic stages over the Tras de Sierra Mountains. We have seen a WRC masterclass handed out before, usually by Sebastian Loeb. But what is unprecedented is a day of total and utter dominance by the sometimes erratic Garcia. He risked all by lowering the ride height of his Fiesta for better response on El Condor, which this year finished with 20 kilometers of tarmac. There is no better feeling than when risks pay off, and Yari charged into a commanding lead. The normally unflappable Loeb was clearly rattled by the long tarmac section on El Condor as he lost ground to the leaders. His bad day was compounded by checking into a regroup early and incurring a 1-minute penalty. Soberg pushed hard all day and was delighted to finish in second, well placed to challenge for the lead on day 2. Mikko Hirvonen fared well in the morning loop, but then tinkered with his setup for the afternoon, taking the same decision as the flying Latvala to lower the ride height, but that didn't work, and he came in 4th. Sebastian Ogier was lucky to get away with this small spin at the end of the day and was pleased with his 3rd place, perfectly poised to push hard on day 2, which he said better suited his driving style. Local favourite and hometown boy Federico Villagra achieved a very impressive 8th place to keep the fans happy. Day 2 had an inauspicious start for leader Garcia, who had what he termed a big moment, 1.5 kilometers from the end of the mixed surface stage 8. Second place Soberg made a mistake on this unpredictable surface 2. Extra long. Which allowed the ever-impressive Sebastian Ogier to take advantage. With a superb run, he leapfrogged Soberg into second and dramatically reduced the deficit on Latvala, who said he lost confidence on stage 9 due to the dust. Only 2 stages into day 2, and Ogier had cut the Finn's lead in half. Sebastian Loeb chose to run on used tyres early on and paid the price, but after switching to a fresh set, he showed his quality by taking time out of both his rivals. 4th place Mikko Hirvonen was a steady performer despite some damaged bodywork, but his times weren't anything to worry the top 3. The stars of the day were clearly turning out to be the Frenchman. Loeb took 3 of the stages before the midday service break, with Ogier taking the other, and it was the younger man who picked up where he left off, taking stage 12 to close on Latvala again. And in stage 13, when the Finns suffered a mechanical failure, Ogier took a massive 21.8 seconds, and with it, the rally lead. Loeb, whilst driving out of his skin, was left ruining the 1-minute penalty he'd incurred on day 1, as he would have been in the lead himself. On stage 14, he continued his relentless pursuit of Hirvonen. Former rally leader Latvala was forced to start out of position on stage 14 due to the damaged compression strut he'd suffered on the previous test, and was ordered to stop during the stage by his team to prevent further damage. And there would be yet more late drama. Petter Soberg lost power steering and relinquished his newly acquired second place to the steady Hirvonen, with Loeb also benefiting to finish the day in third. The Citroën drivers dominated with 7 1-2 finishes out of 8 on day 2. Ogier took a commanding lead of almost 44 seconds into the final overnight break, and Hirvonen had Loeb just 4 seconds behind him in third. Soberg had fallen from second to fourth following his late power steering failure. So, just one stage to go then, and this is what the power stage looks like. The start is the slowest section of the stage. There are some tricky bumps and crests and cambers as it winds its way down towards one of Argentina's many water splashes. The drivers will be flat out through the water, and that river crossing will be where many of the fans are gathering. From there, the cars will climb back up the valley into a wide, fast gravel road. After a few corners to break the rhythm, it will be completely flat out all the way to the finish line. A spectacular finish to this 3.9-kilometre stretch of road. And this is how the drivers will line up. First, we have the 3 leading PWRC runners. Polish youngster Michał Kosciuszko first up, followed by Subaru drivers Patrick Floyd and then PWRC class leader Hayden Paddon. The first about WRC cars is American star Ken Block, who, like the frustrated Jari-Matti Latvala, has restarted today under Super Rally rules. Then it's Matthew Wilson, followed by local hero Federico Valagra and Norway's Mads Osberg. Petter Soberg will be desperate to win his first power stage. He's the first of the Citroën DS3s. Then comes world champion Sebastian Loeb, his closest championship rival Mikko Hirvonen, and then our struggling rally leader, Citroën star Sebastian Ogier. Well, here is confirmation of the drive that we've seen. Ogier's lead being slashed to 3.3 seconds. Hirvonen is third, but he's just a couple of seconds behind Loeb in third place. Petter's made up a bit of ground, but he still sits in fourth place with Osberg in fifth. But it is that three-way fight for round 6 that is going to be keeping our attention as well as the power stage points. Quite an incredible finale we're seeing here in Argentina, and actually quite an unexpected one as well.
A very unexpected. We were kind of thinking that Ogier had it done. His biggest problem is the power steering now. That is the real problem. Kosciuszko into the stage. Now, a man who's struggling. This morning, he had steering arm issues. He broke it. He had to stop and change it. A mechanic as well as a driver. And he's limping through this stage. He just needs to get through. And he's going to only get a minimum amount of points because he lost so much time repairing that car. Yeah, this is heartbreaking for the Polish youngster. He's doing the PWRC this year after having tried out in the SWRC and the JWRC. Remember, this is the production class. These are pretty much your car you could drive off the showroom, and I guess it's been a fairly rough weekend for these Group N cars, isn't it? It's been extremely rough. You can see just the rocks lying around to the left and right of the road. But when the big drivers coming, this is the first time Kosciuszko's been at the front of the field. Normally they're 12 or 14 cars down, and the rocks that the World Rally cars pull out are causing these cars chaos. It's bending suspensions, steering arms, etc. But Mikel is really struggling through this stage, but he's just got to get through and get some points. But you can see the stage is really open and it's fast. This is one of the corners dropping down towards the water splash. This time, unfortunately, Kosciuszko will be unrepresentative of what we get from even the other PWRC cars. You're about to drop down into the water splash here. It goes 90 left into the water splash, and then it starts to climb up on this long sweeping corner, which you don't want to get offline. You get offline, you start to get swept out even more. Yeah, Michael driving the Mitsubishi Evo 10. Good to see the Japanese manufacturer represented at the sports top level. Still, obviously, the team that dominated the WRC in the mid-90s with all those championships for Tommy Mäkinen. But unfortunately for Michael, his Mitsubishi left him down on this occasion, although it wasn't really his fault. He did whack a massive rock in there, co-driven by Maciek Szczepaniak. He's quite an experienced campaigner now. He's been around for a few years. As I said, he's taken part in all these support championships. Quite a talented young man, and be frustrated. He was in third at the start of the day, and he's now dropped all the way down to the bottom end of the PWRC standings. This is the wide, fat section you can see. Beautifully quick. This is the only corner I think they'll have to slow down for. These two, this S-bend, the right and left. And from here on, it's virtually absolutely top gear without any coming off the throttle at all.
Yeah, remember, you're not going to get a sense of it now with Michael really struggling through. He's, as you say, just trying to get through the rally, but when we start to see the top runners come through, you get a sense just how breathtakingly quick the
Here
finish
he is. This is the drop-off. The car just landing pretty heavy there. It's a very heavy car.
Yeah, these Group N cars are a lot heavier than the WRC machines we're going to see a bit later on.
Unfortunately for him, there's not going to be a chance of any. It's a tall order for a PWRC car to get in with a chance of winning the power stage, but he's got no chance with his problems that he's having. But he's heading towards the finish now, and he'll just be a relieved man. There's the yellow boards. Here's the flying finish, and the time is going to be on the board very shortly. 3 minutes 00.1 for Michael Kociuszko through the first stage, through the power stage, first one through. And the next car will be already into the stage because of the poor time by Kociuszko, but he'll be relieved to get through the end of it, and that's it done for him.
Yeah, the top runners will be looking for a time around the 2-minute 20 mark, judging from their displays that we saw earlier in the first pass through this Cabalango stage. Here we are then. This is Patrick Floyd riding above him from our helicopter camera here. Real sense how fast and flowing some of this stage is, and you can see all the tents there as well from the spectators. They've all been camping out overnight. Absolutely love their rallying in Argentina. And Patrick Floyd, well, he is running second in class, but he's another driver who's had a disappointing weekend in the PWRC class.
He has. He had electrical problems on Friday night. The car just wouldn't restart going into the final stage. Bizarrely, it happened again last night on Saturday evening. But he just kept turning the ignition key, kept turning it. All of a sudden, it fired up and came into life. And he didn't turn the car up. But as you say, you can see how bumpy and rough. What this rally has as well as big slide down there into the water splash. Quite a shallow water splash. This is concrete based at the bottom as well, so it's not rough like some you see. But this is long corner. You can see the line. If they start to drift any wider, because you're keen to keep on the power on the uphill sections, you've got to keep in the line. There's another left-hander coming here. He's going to sweep round into a left-hander, and this is when it starts to open out a bit. Only now, this tight corner. From here, there's only one proper braking point, in my opinion, from here onwards.
Yeah, it's foot to the floor all the way to the finish. Flodin's not going to trouble the rally leader, Hayden Paddon, who's following him. That's in the PWRC class. He's a long, long way ahead, but finally, Patrick had a clear run. He's not had the best of luck so far. Very quick young man. He's 26 years old, an exciting young talent. Anyway, he's second in class coming into day 3. He's had a 35 WRC starts himself, driving the Subaru Impreza Group N car.
Well, this car's really good. It's really come to car. Here we go over this jump. This is a speed comparison. Yeah, you see how when we get the World Rally cars, you'll see the difference of the speed of these cars. And it's just, the cars are a little bit heavier. They're not got as much performance. It's a slightly cheaper category to come in. But Patrick Floyd and these top drivers are pushing as hard as anybody else is in their World Rally cars. It just, the car differences are just there. And that's the way it is. Patrick having a troubled weekend, but he's still going to get second place in PWRC. And here he comes through. 2:38Z, 2:38.0 for Patrick.
Yeah, 22 seconds. That dog gets out of the way there. Yeah, 22 seconds quicker than the struggling Kociuszko.
Okay,
so
here we go.
Over the jump.
Okay, here we go. He's heading towards the jump. And the car, when we see the World Rally cars, you'll see the compression drop as it was. And okay, here's our PWRC leader.
Yeah, Hayden Paddon, well, he has had quite a dominant weekend, as he did at his first round a couple of rallies back in Portugal. Was it 8 minutes up on anyone else in the PWRC class? This man has really not put a foot wrong all weekend.
He's had a great weekend. On Friday, we were all saying that he was really, really slow and careful. And the problem was it wasn't a problem. We all thought he had a problem. It wasn't. He was basically looking at it like no other driver. He knew it was rough, and he just had to get through, which is what he did. And he said it was the roughest stage rallying he's ever done. He's on that line. He's got this right-hander into left. Then we're heading down towards the water splash. So Hayden's on his way down here. Just dropping down the hill here. You can see the way the car's pumping. There's all these rocks, like kind of embedded into the ground as well. So that's what's giving it the rough ride and the bouncing around.
Yeah, and this is the first visit to the classic stages of Rally Argentina for Hayden. So it really has been quite an impressive performance. 8 minutes up. Here we go through the water splash. Nice and tidy there from the Kiwi.
Now, obviously, the World Rally Cars, when they get there, they have a little trick for the water splash. But this is this long corner, as we say, on the way out. And Hayden just, again, to be fair, he'll be preparing not to be super fast in this stage, because all he's interested in is his points for his category. It's going to be a tough one for him to win this power stage. So let's just get the points.
Let's look at all the spectators.
1.4 up on Floyd for...
Well, that's just between these two leading PWRC guys, remember, so their own little battle. Just
crazy fans there.
Padden, look at this, look how calm he looks. He's just out for a Sunday afternoon drive. He's got this rally in the bag. Very shortly going to make it 2 wins out of 2 for his own PWRC campaign.
He's heading towards that jump now, towards there. As he's coming along. Here he is, here he goes. Just let's see how he takes the jump.
Tracked every step of the way by a helicopter as well there.
Quicker than Floyd over there. Nice jump.
He's a talented young man, this New Zealander. You're watching his career with interest.
He's on a 5-year program, and this is year 2. Obviously, the Pirelli Star driver last year was his first year, and I just think it's a big plan for him, and he's very positive. 2:34.7. 2:34.7.
He's 3.3 seconds quicker than Patrick Floyd. So Hayden Padden, our quickest runner through so far.
Quickest runner through so far, which is great for him. But more importantly for him on a personal level, he's the winner of the PWRC category. Here he comes down into the water splash, really wide, getting it lined up, straight through the water splash, and then got to get it ready. The more cars that come through there, the wetter it's going to get.
Anyway, back on the start line, this is our first WRC runner, the American superstar, Ken Block. He's had a disappointing weekend again, but it is great to see him in the power stage.
He's spun! He's
lost it! Whoa, really, really wide. Well,
spin.
It just shows you what the loose stuff is like if you get offline. Ken, very, very close to completely losing it there. Just kind of a half spin, as you say, and up onto the bank, but he lost a bit of time there. That's going to make it very difficult for him to challenge for the point-scoring places now in the power stage.
Yeah, because he was quick this morning, and we thought he could have a chance if he had a clean run, but he just ran wide, further and further and further out, and he just couldn't keep it, and it just went. But here it is again. He's very wide. This morning we thought he was a bit wild, but you see there he is. He's pointing towards the edge of the road, and he just can't get it back. Just rides upon the gravel, on the bank, and away down. Yeah, not a spin, a half spin, but 4 or 5 seconds lost because the momentum and everything like that's gone. He's heading down to the water splash. Now, they have a little trick in the water splash of the World Rally Cars. You see, he's very wide. I don't know whether that car's handling right. It's too sideways.
Well, he lost a lot of time in the first stage this morning. I actually found out what his problem was there. I don't know if there's any after effects from that, but did actually set a pretty good time in here through the first run through. Actually 5th fastest, which was very impressive from Ken in there, but maybe giving it a pushing a little bit too hard.
You can see the car's just all over the place. Yeah. I won't be surprised if he doesn't spin again.
Big cut there, and again very wide, and it's on those loose exits to the corner where you can lose it.
Okay, let's listen in.
That's 4 minus line, and left 4.
Okay, this is this big corner where I think they're going to break, and then it's on towards flat out section towards the jump. Half a second down on Padden, but that's the time he's lost through the split. I mean, these cars really probably should do this stage 7 or 8 seconds quicker.
Yeah, remember we're looking for a time around 2 minutes 20 for these top WRC cars, and that half spin by Ken, spectacular over the jump, but that half spin by Block is going to cost him in his bid to score some power stage points this afternoon.
Car sounds great. It's just looked a bit, it's been messy. It's been a messy drive by Block, and he's just thrown away a chance of getting 3 points there, or two or one, whatever. Messy drive.
Yeah, he has made it through. Super rallying today after problems yesterday, but that is the quickest time through. He did recover a bit in the second half.
It's the high-speed stuff at the end where he's going to gain it, the performance there, but he's smiling away. I mean, look, he didn't like, I mean, if he'd gone a little bit further in there, he started piercing the radiator with the bushes, all of a sudden it could become a bit of a problem, you know what I mean? So there he is on the stop line, just next to our commentary position.
Yeah, good to see Ken make it through to the stage finish. He's had a disappointing couple of rallies. Anyway, back on the start line is a man who's going to be one of the favourites to win this power stage. This is Jari-Matti Latvala, who once again has looked like he could win an event, only to suffer heartbreak halfway through the rally, and he comes into our power stage super rallying. What a disappointing weekend it's been for this man.
I would say he's my driver of the weekend. His performance on Friday particularly was awesome. Saturday morning was brilliant, and then the disaster of yesterday afternoon when he hit the rock. And yep, people might say, well, he should avoid it. It was unavoidable in the middle of the road. We can see them laid around, scattered around. Jari-Matti Latvala, just the unluckiest man. Well, maybe along with Petter Soberg, the pair of them are fighting for the unluckiest man in the rallying at the moment. He's been blindingly fast, and he will want this win to get the points.
So this is the standings so far. Block is the fastest man through so far. He's the first WRC car. 2 minutes 31, the time for Jari-Matti to beat. And Latvala, well, he really will be one of the favourites to win this power stage. Came very close to doing it back in Italy, only just pipped to it by his teammate in the end.
Yeah, we saw the drama of the power stage in Jordan where this man lost out and then lost the rally and in line with it. Little thing about the water splashes with World Rally cars, they have a little flap. The co-drivers pull the flap, it blocks off the air intake so no water gets into the engine, and so the speed they hit it. You see, this is long corners uphill. The traction is just going away from you. No service today, so they're on the same tyres that they've been running all day. That's that big left-hander. Now it's on the way, flat out. One couple of more braking points.
6.4 up on Ken Block. This is a terrific effort from Jari-Matti Latvala. As he was in Italy, he's desperate to get a consolation few extra points out of this power stage after having looked so good for the victory for such a long time this weekend. He's absolutely going for it here into the last couple of kilometres.
He's heading towards it. Here we go. You see how the car, on the World Rally cars compared to the WRCs, the suspension travel, the droop as it just drops. 200 millimeters of travel just droops and it just absorbs it. You don't even feel it. We heard earlier on in Petter when they did this one, he doesn't even have that jump in his pace notes.
Let's see him through the flying finish anyway. We think he's going to beat Block, but by how much? 2 minutes 20.9. I said around 10.1 seconds.
But
up.
you've got to remember, Block lost 4 or 5 with the half spin and the kind of like getting it sorted out. But Ken's only got himself to blame. Hometown hero.
Yeah, hometown hero, Federico Villagra. The fans will be watching this performance with interest. They'll be cheering him on every step of the way, as they have for the entire weekend. He lives just down the road from Carlos Paz. Does El Coyote, as he's known in these parts. Here we go. Jules Perez Companc, his co-driver. 52 World Rally starts, and his best performance here is Argentina. Obviously, he's done many times before, and he's finished 4th here a couple of years ago. He's actually competed here 11 times before. He's probably the most experienced driver in the entire field on his home event here.
Well, definitely the World Rally drivers, but you would expect that. I mean, yeah. It's absolutely fantastic when you've got a local driver in the top category when you go to that rally. The fans have doubled because of him. It's just incredible, and he's had a disappointing Friday particularly, but he's kind of got on with it since then, and he's trying to push to give those fans something to cheer about.
You can see the Argentine flags being waved alongside the
crowd
road there.
Here. They get excited.
They know he's coming into the water splash. Nice and tidy as well. That's one other thing we've got to look out for. It's getting more and more slippery on the Exeter course as the water gets pulled up onto the road as they come up to the left there. So that's something some of the later runners might have to keep an eye out for.
So as he climbs up the hill here, and he's got that big 90 left where they're getting ready sideways. From here, it's full speed. As I said, one left, right, left, where they've got to kind of slow themselves down from then on. It is absolutely on it. You just watch the dust trail behind. You can see there at 1.2
down.
That's on Latvala at the minute, 1.2 down. That's still not bad.
No.
You think Jari-Matti Latvala, he is world-class driver. You know, he's one of the top 5, if not probably the top 3 or 4, you know what I mean? He is absolutely on it. And these boys, they don't get the time in the car like he does. Federico absolutely on it here.
Yeah, he does know these roads.
Here we go.
Let's have a look at him over the little crest. Yet again, let's see that suspension travel. almost absorbs the entire crest, doesn't it?
Well, you just don't, the cars just don't react to it when they land. When you saw the WRC cars, they were a bit bouncy for the next like few meters or so.
His time to 20.9, still that time to beat. Federico coming through that last quick left-hander before the big slide. It's going to be slower than Latvala. Let's see how he does compared to Matt as well. Where's he slotted into? Well, third place, so he's slower than Matt Wilson as well. 3.2 seconds down on Jari Matti. As we saw in Italy, the Finn waiting patiently to see what his main rivals can do at the top end. He'd desperately have loved to have been fighting for the rally victory as well as he, well, really should have been, really.
A 2:24.1. Here he is into the water splash. Look how much neater he is than everybody else. Power on, neat and tidy, get it through the water splash. And as you say, the water is now dragging further and further out of this water splash, which will make it a little bit slippier for the exit, for the runners.
Fans taking every available participant.
Every vantage point.
And the next car in is Norwegian youngster Mads Soberg. He absolutely starred for us, didn't he, back in Sweden. He's had a bit of bad luck since then, got back into scoring ways with a top 5 finish in Italy, and he's been back up to his best form. I mean, up to 5th place again here, but he's been frustrated, hasn't he? He
has been frustrated. The leaderboard so far.
Yeah, Latvala still the man to beat. Wilson just 1.6 seconds down. Valagra, the local star, currently in the 3rd spot, and the current 1-point scoring position he'll get for that in the power stage. But yeah, as we were saying, a bit of a frustrating weekend for Mads, considering it's actually not been a bad run for him.
It's not been a bad run. I mean, you think we've got 5 world-class drivers in factory cars or semi-supported with the case of Soberg. The next best position is 6th, and Mads is the man who's kind of occupying that most of the time. And then one of those top 5 don't finish, you take any advantage, and that's what he's done here. He's currently in 5th at the minute, but he's a little bit disappointed with his pace. His first time here, I think he's done a solid job. Let's see how neat and tidy he is. Again, neat and tidy. Block was really wide. Block had something with his car. You see now the mud's getting more and more.
Yeah, and tidiest is quite often quickest, so we'll be interested to see how the Norwegian does in the power stage compared to Latvala. Had a run through here earlier, so he has had a chance to tweak his pace notes. That's been one of the issues. He said he couldn't believe some of the cuts and the lines that the top runners have been making. That's where he needs to learn. He's certainly quick. It's just experience that he needs now to finish him as the full driver that we know he can be.
Well, I'd say it's experience, as you say, with the 1 second down on Latvala. That's not too bad. That was in amongst quick times, but I mean, it's in this second part where Latvala really excels. This is where the confidence and the belief in your car and your ability really come in.
Yeah,
and that's where Jari stretched it out.
Yeah, they really are absolutely flat out. It's pretty much foot to the floor all the way through the last couple of kilometres.
Here comes the jump.
Terrific view from above there. Look how many fans there are roadside. Absolutely thousands of them packed into the power stage here in Argentina. So remember, 2:20.9, the time to beat by Jari Matti Latvala. Let's see if Mads can get close. No, he's not going to do it. Into the flying finish already. Not sure if he's going to get in the top 3 here.
23.8.
Yeah, he just slots in ahead of Federico Valagra, so the local star knocked out of the point-scoring places. Shake of the hand for co-driver Jonas Andersson. Good weekend's work by Mads. 2nd top 5 finish in a row, and Jari Matti Latvala sits calmly for another few minutes.
I think he'd be satisfied with that overall. You know, you look at the performance first time here, it's a good, strong run for him. Jari's looking a little bit worried there. Obviously, he's lost the dream of winning, but...
Yeah, it's just his body language. He just doesn't look, you know, he's just such a frustrated man, isn't he? Knows he could have won this event.
Here's another frustrated man.
Yeah, Petter Soberg, another driver who was hoping he, well, really was fighting for the victory until the very last stage yesterday evening, and then that power steering problem saw him drop back and out of contention and out of the top 3, in fact. Heartbreak again for the man who just doesn't seem to be able to buy any good luck recently.
And he's also, in power stage history, he's struggled as well. He's only been on the podium once, and that was a 3rd place in Mexico. So Petter's not even excelled on this. He's a man who's blindingly fast, but his looks deserted him on these stages as well.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, again, this is going to be the power stage where he wants to get those extra few points, but as you say, he's not quite been able to do that either. Look, fans absolutely love him here. He is nicknamed Mr. Hollywood, and they've really taken to him to their hearts over the years. First competed here 11 years ago, so Petter, one of the most experienced campaigners on these roads.
You can just see the car just move. It's like a bucking bronco, bouncing from rock to rock. We're on the way down in towards the water splash here. See what the Citroen's like compared to the Fords. Still neat and tidy. Get it lined up for the water. You see the water pulling out and out. Petter now on that climb up the hill. He's got to get it neat and tidy and keep it in. Interested to see what the split is when it comes in. This is against Latvala, obviously the fastest so far. Petter launches his attack up the mountain.
Yeah, this is our first Citroen DS3. Slightly different characteristics. A really, really long, wide slide there from Petter. We saw him in Italy, the same kind of thing. He seemed to try too hard almost, didn't he? Overdrove a little bit there, and it did seem to cost him in some of the corners, but he's such a passionate competitor.
0.9
wow.
up.
Well, this could be interesting. Jari Matti.
I'd like to see Latvala's face now.
Yeah, well, he definitely looks very
yeah. He would like to see it as well, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's see what he can do in that last couple of kilometres then, where it's really quick. Let's listen to pace notes there from Chris Patterson.
Slight right, opens, 100. 6 right, half long, tight, big cut. 6 left, half long, over crest, 60. 6 left, plus over crest, extra long, open.
Really hard inside the car.
Here we go, this is the moment. He didn't have that jump in his pace notes. He just has a fast left. He doesn't have the jump in the pace notes.
This is going to be very, very
close.
To beat. Very, very close. Oh, he's done it. 2:20.1. He beats Jari Matti by 0.8 of a second. And finally, Petter Soberg has a real shot at taking a power stage victory. Sebastian Loeb, who lost a minute in a time penalty, don't forget, at the start of the weekend, lost a bit more time with a bad tyre choice yesterday. He had written off almost any chance of a podium finish, and now he comes into the final power stage 3.3 seconds behind his struggling teammate Sébastien Ogier. Absolutely anything could happen now in the next 15 minutes or so.
Well, it's incredible because the time this morning, Ogier did a 31.7 and Loeb did a 23.0. So the time is definitely there to be made. It's Ogier has just got to be mentally strong and physically strong with no power steering. Loeb has just got to be an all-out mission. It is all or nothing in here.
And don't forget that Mikko Hirvonen, of course, is coming next in. He's starting this stage just 2.4 seconds behind Sebastian Loeb as well. We've got the overall, really wide there.
He's just on it. He's got to be. It's winner takes all now. He really is. Hirvonen, we've seen, has excelled in the power stages, and Loeb won't have not been noticed by Loeb.
Yeah.
He's just got to be absolutely on it. This is where it doesn't matter. If I spin now, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't forget he's won this event 5 times in a row. This will be his 6 out of 6 if he can make it another win. It's been quite a remarkable run in Argentina for the 7-time world champion.
Let's just listen to Elena barking out these notes, encouraging Loeb along. There's that car.
Oh, he's slower.
Down.
He's slower. Well, this is interesting.
This is to Petter, but it's Ogier we're concentrating on for the rally win. Power stage win. Petter is in the prime seat at the minute.
Of course, it's the very quick stuff to come at the end. It'll be interesting to see how quick Sebastian Loeb is through this blisteringly quick finish to the stage.
There's a jump. You hardly feel that jump in these cars.
Yeah.
And this is all about bravery, commitment, and desire now.
Argentine fans willing him on every step of the way. They appreciate a superstar in action, and we have a superstar performance on our hands here from Sebastian Loeb. Is it enough to take the power stage lead from Petter Soberg, and is it enough to take the overall win for his 6th Argentina victory? Look at Petter Soberg, you can't believe it, he's done it. It's enough. Petter looks like he's won the rally already. He's just so happy to beat Sebastian Loeb by half a second. Big hug for Chris Patterson as well. You'd have thought he won the rally there with that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we could have the rally winner sat there as well. I mean, Loeb he's going to have to, I think he'll wait around because he'll want to know if he's won. Petter's delighted with his performance.
It's terrific to see
I haven't seen a smile like that for a while.
It's terrific to see a smile on Petter's face. Deserves it after such a frustrating finish to day 2 in Argentina.
I actually went and saw Petter last night, and seriously, he was so disappointed. That was the damage from before, don't worry. That was from the first stage.
This is Mikko Hirvonen, and that is the front wing damage that we know that Mikko had earlier in the day. But remember, he's starting this stage 2.4 seconds behind Sebastian Loeb. And we don't know yet how much time Ogier is going to lose with that struggling DS3 with no power steering. But let's concentrate for now on the leading forward of Mikko Hirvonen.
And I have to say, Mikko yesterday he was a beaten man. He just couldn't get it together or anything. He struggled on the tarmac sections. This morning he's come out, he's a new man. He's incredible on Sundays.
Yeah, he has put in a fantastic performance on these last 4 stages of the final day. And again, using absolutely every inch of the road. Be careful, there's a few rocks being pulled out as well after the earlier runners, but Mikko won't care a bit.
Is unbelievable.
He's absolutely on it, and he's got to be. You can't beat a 7-time world champion without pulling out something special.
I think Loeb and Hervenen would have come in here with the mentality of win the power stage, you win the rally.
Well, exactly. And of course, Mikko as well has got a good record in power stages. He's won a couple already, Mexico, and last time out in Italy, of course, as well.
That's it for Mikko Hervenen. Yep, Mexico and Italy, and a podium in Jordan. He's not at a 3rd place yet, but he's had 2 firsts and a 2nd. But here's that big long left-hander. This is where, I mean, we saw very, very high speed, top speeds on the Fords on Friday. This is where they've got to use every single second and every single kilometre.
Oh, he's slower. 4/10 of a second down.
That's on
4/10 of a second down on Petter. But even so, I don't think it's going to be enough. He's got to pull out something special now to get past Sebastian Loeb for the potential rally win as well. Just depends what he can do now through the blisteringly quick finish to the stage. It's Mr. Jarmo Leitonen here. Really tidy over the jump, but he is pushing. Well, I just can't call it. He's got 2.4 seconds.
It's strange with Petter being in the 1st place.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the rally lead is kind of like second nature.
Well, let's have a look. So 220.1 to get ahead in the power. Really, really wide in the flying finish. He's
20.6. He's not done it.
No, he's just slower.
He's matched.
Look at that.
He's matched Ogier. He's matched Ogier.
Loeb.
Right.
He's matched Loeb.
Yeah. Sorry. He's matched Loeb. Hervenen matches Loeb for overall.
So this, well, Petter knows them because Ogier is struggling the stage. That should be the power stage victory secured for Petter. And well, realistically, that should be the overall win secured for Sebastian Loeb as well. Because, as we said before, Sebastian Ogier is really struggling. He's got no rear wing. He's got no power steering. So it would take something miraculous for... here he is now. You can see on the start line, no rear wing there. The man who started this final day with a massive lead. He's blown it on the 1st stage of the morning. Sebastian Ogier. Well, let's see what he can do, but it's going to take something miraculous, as I say, to get anywhere near the times of those top 3 we've just seen.
He's going to struggle, and I've done my maths. It's, as I said before, not the greatest. I think if Ogier is anything slower than 24, anything slower than a 2:24, the victory is down to Sebastian Loeb. And as you're saying there, the celebrations, Petter's kind of thinking, unless there's something miraculous happens here, he's got the power stage. Loeb's also thinking, I've got the rally win here.
Yeah.
And you know what? Petter Soberg deserves it for his performance yesterday and his disappointment. And Loeb showed everybody yesterday he was something else as well.
Well, that's it. I mean, just think, this man lost a minute on the 1st day, Sebastian Loeb. So just imagine what he would have done without that. But for now, we're keeping an eye on his teammate, Sebastian Ogier.
The split will tell us. Ogier will just... He won't believe. I don't know. It's not luck. He's just crawling through.
Yeah,
he's going to
really
manage
struggling.
a 3rd overall, and that's
really
about it.
And when we saw it in Mexico as well, he was fighting for the lead there and sort of had a mistake there that broke
Sardinia,
his car.
he hit the rock in the 1st stage of the afternoon, in the 1st stage in the morning, dropping himself off the podium. Ogier prone to little pressure errors on a Sunday.
Yeah, he has won 2 rallies this year, and he was looking good to win his 3rd here in Argentina. It's just his 2nd time here in Argentina.
We're
as
already
well.
at 1:35, and he's only just gone round that corner.
Yeah, he's losing a lot of time.
Our 2 rally winners are currently not sat in a seat. They're stood just outside.
4.4 seconds down. 4.4
That's not
seconds
bad
down.
Considering the problem that he's got.
No, but with only 3.3 seconds in hand on Sebastian Loeb, it's not looking good for the rally leader. It's looking like he's going to lose that lead on the very last stage.
What's Julian and Garcia? The encouragement.
This will be heartbreaking for Sebastian.
But his own doing. You can't take that away from him. It's his own doing. I'm surprised he's even got here with the car in that state.
Yeah.
Also, with the no rear wing, he's losing so much aerodynamics. The car's moving around. He's got no power steering. He's just got so many problems with that car. The aero is the bad thing.
Yeah, he's already slower. He's already slower.
We have a rally winner.
Well,
and a new power stage winner.
Well done, Peter Soberg. Well done, Sebastian Loeb. Commiserations to Sebastian Ogier, who loses the lead of the rally on the very last stage. So there is confirmation of Peter Solberg's first ever power stage victory. Mikko Hirvonen again scores some points in the power stage. He gets 2 points for second place. And Sebastian Loeb continues that 100% scoring record in the power stages. He's still the only man who's managed to do that this year in 2011.
He's racked up 10 points on the power stage as Loeb this year so far.
Yeah, it's quite an incredible record for Sebastian, especially considering how much pressure he's quite often under in these last stages. Here's confirmation of the overall standings then. Sebastian Loeb claims the victory from Mikko Hirvonen by just 2.4 seconds. Sebastian Ogier, he slips down to third. That's 7.3 seconds down on Sebastian Loeb, his teammate. Peter Solberg, he has to settle for fourth after those power steering problems yesterday. Then comes his fellow Norwegian Mats Osberg in fifth. Local star Federico Valagra takes a fine sixth place, and a frustrated Jari-Matti Latvala in seventh. It's quite an incredible victory for Sebastian Loeb, just 2.4 seconds, and that's his second win in a row. And let's take a look back at some of the highlights from the Argentine power stage. Peter Solberg, Mr. Hollywood, finally spraying some champagne. It's for a power stage win, and he is absolutely ecstatic. Great job as well by co-driver Chris Patterson. The fans love him here. 3 points, says Chris. Thank you very much. Look at the crowd down there, and a big spray for the Argentine fans as well. Terrific finish to the rally for Peter Solberg after such a disappointing end to day two. He's not had much luck this year, but finally something for Peter Solberg to smile about. We can take a look at the championship standings now. Let's see what this has done. Obviously another win for Sebastian Loeb. He's now on 126 points. He's 13 up on Mikko Hirvonen, but the Finn does keep scoring points and keep scoring in the power stage as well to keep it interesting. Sebastian Ogier, well, he will be a frustrated man. In third place still on 96 points, but Jari-Matti Latvala 2 in fourth. He could have scored a lot more points. Both those drivers will think they should have won this rally and could have won this rally. Peter Solberg, he's in fifth. He gets those extra 3 championship points for the power stage, and Mats Osberg's there, still in sixth place. And in the manufacturer standings, well, Citroën, they've extended their lead again slightly on Ford. They're on 207 points to Ford's 174, with another good point-scoring haul again for M Sport Stobart, with both their drivers getting a good haul of points. And Peter Soberg there, privately entered team in 4th place. From one classic event in Argentina to another, as the next stop for the WRC sees the team head back to Europe for the Acropolis Rally, which take place on the rough, rocky, sunburnt gravel roads of Greece. That begins on June 16th. Well, it's been another incredible power stage here in the Argentine countryside. A great finish to the rally for Peter Soberg with that extra 3 championship points. And it's victory number 65 for Floyd. Join us again in Greece for the classic Acropolis Rally in a few weeks' time. But for now, from South America, it's goodbye.